Right then, so right now there are some absolute dumbasses out there who actually believe that Canelo versus Jake Paul will happen. This fight's never going to happen, and yeah, people were just falling for all these rumors of multiple reports saying that this is going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's never, ever, ever going to happen. People like, oh, it might not happen now, but it might happen sometime down the line. It's not happening now, and it's not going to happen down the line. It's not going to happen, if I'm being completely honest. I don't care about this fight. I probably wouldn't watch it. If it happens, I'm not even joking. I wouldn't watch this fight. The influencer boxing fans will, of course they will, but you know, for me, it's not a fight I'd watch. It's over in 30 seconds. Like, it's pointless. Like, the build up would be cringe. Like, no. Like, this is being rumored for May. It's not going to happen in May. Canelo's got the Crawford fight happening in September. Why is he going to take a gimmick fight like this in the meantime when you've got a massive, massive, massive money fight coming up against Terence Crawford in probably a big, big, big stadium in America as well? Why would he take this Jake Paul fight? Like, and I honestly, like, I don't really like Canelo too much either, to be honest. I'm not exactly a big fan of him, steroid stuff that people like to sweep under the rug. But either way, Canelo cares about his legacy. Canelo's a legacy fighter. Obviously, he's in it for the money, as we know, but he's getting paid big for that Crawford fight. He gets paid big every single time he fights. Like, let's be real. Canelo's a legacy fighter. He's not going to want the name Jake Paul on his resume. He's obviously going to win, but it's still a stain on his resume if Jake Paul's on there. And Canelo knows this as well. Like, we know for a fact Canelo is a legacy fighter. And why would he take this fight when he's got a Crawford fight coming up? There's still a David Benavidez fight there that he can take. There's big money fights for him. Like, he might even at some point want to go and fight Bivol again, but he might still want to move up again and try and do that. Like, there's way better things Canelo could be doing, and I'm sure that is what he's thinking as well. And if this does happen, which it won't be a proper fight. If it does happen, it won't be a pro fight. But it's never going to happen anyway. It's not going to be an actual fight if it happens. It'll just be a gimmick exhibition where Canelo has to sign the contract to go the distance. But again, he's never going to do that. He's never going to do that. I feel like it's stupid that people are believing these reports. I mean, there's money involved in it, of course, because they're both big names. But it's like, who really cares? Who really cares? Like, Canelo knows this as well. It's not going to happen. And Jake Paul knows he's going to get knocked spark out. All the talk of Jake Paul saying, oh, I believe I beat Canelo. Like, no. He does not believe that. Jake Paul does not believe he'll beat Canelo. It's just there, to try and get a bit more stock around his name. That's all it is. That is all it is for Jake Paul. He doesn't believe he's going to win the fight. Let's be completely honest here. Jake Paul does not believe he will beat Canelo. It's just all for show to try and build up his name up. And, he's just going to continue fighting MMA fighters. And look, Jake Paul's been hinting at, fighting a Mexican. It's obviously going to be Julius Cesar Chavez Jr. Obviously. Like, that's the obvious fight, if we're being completely honest here. It's not going to be Canelo. And let's be real as well, Turki Al-Sheikh's not going to let this happen. Turki Al-Sheikh won't let this kind of fight happen. We know how Turki Al-Sheikh feels about Jake Paul and, like, the whole influencer boxing gimmick fights. Like, Turki Al-Sheikh wasn't the one who put on Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. Like, that wasn't Turki Al-Sheikh. He's not gonna have it. Turki Al-Sheikh won't have this. He's gonna be paying Canelo big money for that Crawford fight. Money that possibly. I don't even think that this Jake Paul fight's gonna offer Canelo as much money as the Crawford fight. I actually think that Canelo versus Crawford's gonna be. For us actual boxing fans, it's going to be bigger than what Canelo versus Jake Paul is at the end of the day. There's big money involved in Canelo versus Jake Paul. It's one of the biggest fights, not Canelo versus Jake Paul, Canelo versus Crawford. Canelo versus Crawford's one of the biggest fights in the history of boxing, if we're being completely real here. Canelo versus Jake Paul is not an actual fight. And, you know, Canelo's not stupid here. Like, it's just a waste of everybody's time. It's a waste of the fans' time because it's an absolute, you know, con of a fight, like every single one of Jake Paul's fights are, especially that Mike Tyson fight. Canelo's going to spark Jake Paul out, or you never know, sign a contract to not knock him out. But again, that's not going to happen. Like, the fight's not going to happen. I'm just saying, you know, reasons why it's not going to happen. Canelo's not stupid here. Like, it's a waste of his time. Like, there's no point in it whatsoever. I mean, like, yeah, he's got a Crawford fight coming up in the summer, then possibly another big fight towards the end of the year. So it just doesn't fit in. It just doesn't make any sense either. Like, as well, look at the weight. Like, what weights would they even fight at? It just doesn't make sense on any level whatsoever. I mean, a catch weight probably, actually, if you think about it. But it's like, Jake Paul's not an actual boxer. He's never done anything in boxing. I just don't. Canelo's not going to go this low. Like, he's gone low, you know, he is cherry picking his opponents, but he's not going to go this low and fight Jake Paul. Never in a million years. Like, you know, Mayweather wouldn't even do this as an exhibition. Why would Canelo? Why would Canelo? Canelo's not a guy who messes about. None of these Mexicans really are. Like, you know, they're not the kind of people to mess about and give out these stupid opportunities to people like Jake Paul. Like, no, I find it stupid how people believe all of this and are milking all this in, because it's just not going to happen. But you know, people are going to mention, money involved, money, you know, all the money. It's eventually going to sway Canelo. But again, if you do think about it, though, from what we've heard about Canelo in the past, he's a difficult fighter to buy. Like, Canelo can't really be bought if we're being completely honest. Like, he was demanding $250 million to fight Benavidez. You know, he's been off of that fight, and he didn't take that one. Why is he going to fight Jake Paul? Like, there's just 0 point in it. Canelo knows for a fact what he's getting himself into here, and it's an embarrassment on Canelo if he takes this fight. And as I said, Canelo's a legacy fighter. He gains nothing out of fighting Jake Paul. And also, if he does give Jake Paul this opportunity and Canelo knocks Jake Paul out in one round, as much as people would like to see it, it's like, it's not even a stain on Jake Paul if he gets knocked out in the first round. Like, he can just say, it took one of the best to knock me out. Like, you know, no, it's not going to happen at any point in our lifetime. It's not going to happen. This is never, ever, ever going to happen. I just don't get why people think it will. Like, people, I think some people have said, it might happen at the very end of Canelo's career, kind of like what Mayweather did with Conor McGregor. It's a completely different scenario with Mayweather fighting McGregor and Canelo fighting Jake Paul. Mayweather versus McGregor were the two biggest names. McGregor was the biggest name ever in boxing. Conor McGregor, the biggest name in MMA. So that, you know, it made more sense for them to clash than it does this. Canelo's the biggest name in boxing. Jake Paul, he's just a big celebrity name, like, who's beaten no one apart from MMA fighters. There we go. You can't hand out an opportunity like this. There's going to be many people around the boxing scene as well that aren't going to let this happen. Turki Al-Sheikh, like, what about Canelo's mandatory challenges? You know, he's already taken a bit of time off fighting mandatories to fight Crawford anyway. So, yeah, to do this in May, like, no, it's not happening. Anyway, thanks for watching.